Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So, if this is the first time you've joined me, this is a very, very casual stream. We just pretty much chat about tabletop gaming news, board games, RPGs. Sometimes we talk a little computer gaming, console gaming. But normally, we're just talking tabletop here. So, anyway, welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, December 5th. This is episode 404 of The Daily Dope. And, of course, since this is live on YouTube, there is chat available. So, it's not on screen. One of the ways that I keep some of the stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say hello, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, fire away. I normally will respond unless it zips past, because sometimes we got pretty fast-moving chat out there. So anyway, of course, if you like the show, please give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because not only will it notify you of when this stream goes live within about a minute or so, it'll also tell you when I upload my standalone videos, such as my review of Crowbar, the Rangers at Point du Hoc, that I put up last night after the show. So, very, very cool. So far in chat, we've got Dan from No Enemies here, and the Madman are in chat so far tonight. So, lots going on. Bears are playing tonight, so once I wrap this show up, I will go catch the rest of the Bears game. I don't have a good feeling about this. I know everybody in Chicago is like, "Oh yeah, Bears are going to beat the Cowboys. Cowboys they're done." Yeah. You watch. All right, Beat Cafe is in the house. So's Brian Sweet. Howdy, 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 everyone. Okay, so let's jump on to the news. I got a good mixture tonight. And probably the biggest news item that has popped so far this week comes from Cephalofair Games, because they revealed their follow-up to Gloomhaven. And I've got a bit of dope about Frosthaven. Frosthaven is the story of a small outpost in the far north, one barely surviving the harsh weather, as well as invasions from forces both known and unknown. It will be up to a small group of mercenaries to help rebuild the town and fight to bring it back from most certain doom. Frosthaven is a standalone adventure that features an entirely new 100 scenario campaign, 16 new races, 16 new characters, 3 new races, over 25 new enemies, and over 100 new items. In addition to the well-known combat mechanics, Frosthaven will feature much more to do outside of combat, including a seasonal event system, numerous mysteries to solve, as well as offering player control of how this ramshackle village expands, with each new building offering new ways to progress. Isaac Childress will once again be taking the lead on design and is excited to be working with even more of the wonderfully talented members of our creative community. Alexander Elchev returns, providing artwork for all characters, monsters, and items, with additional artists and writers being brought on board to bring exciting new life to the map tiles, the world map, and story. Cephalofair Games will be launching a Kickstarter for Frosthaven in March. There is going to be an official announcement at a press conference that's being held this Saturday at PAX Unplugged. As far as it's actually in a theater, so I believe Cephalofair has rented out a theater for their press conference. So kind of interesting there. Gotta say, still have never played Gloomhaven. whatsoever. I almost said Frosthaven, but then again, none of us have played Frosthaven yet. But interestingly enough, they have been porting that over to PC, and people have not been kind. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just not as developed as the board game actually is, or maybe it's too much like the board game. All right, so a great day is in chat. So has Kabuki Kid has arrived as well. Although Kabuki Kid says they're kind of occupied, so they might not be typing a whole lot. And of course, we got Flaming Huron as well. So good chat cooking already. Let's move on to the next news story, because get ready to roast some beans for the Java junkies out there, because Coffee Roaster is arriving from Stronghold Games just in time for the holidays. Here's the dope. Coffee Roaster is a solitaire pool building game. You choose a variety of coffee beans you want to roast and put a number of tokens specific to that variety into a bag. Each turn, you draw a number of bean tokens randomly from the bag to advance their roast level. When you are finished, you make a cup testing to check the taste of your coffee and score points accordingly. Each variety has its own target roast level, but approaching the target is not enough for perfect roasting. You also have to even out the roast level of each bean while not spoiling the flavor of that variety. You also have to screen out smoke tokens and burnt bean tokens that hinder your roasting. You must reject bean tokens that spoil the taste. It's important to control the contents of your bag, utilizing flavor efforts and unique effects caused by placing tokens on the roast board. There are 22 varieties of beans in the game. In one game, you try to roast 3 of them, and your roaster tile is awarded based on the total score. Enjoy the world of coffee roasting and aim for the ultimate title of Master Roaster. Coffee Roaster is for one player. It is a solitaire game. For ages 12 and up, plays in around 10 to 30 minutes. I would hope it's closer to 30 minutes. Will carry an MSRP of $44.99 when it arrives December 23rd. Sweet. There you go. I've heard good things about this game. If I remember correctly, I think, well, it's coming from DLP Games. But I could have swore originally I thought this is like a Japanese or Chinese board game. I don't know. I might be wrong. All right, Jorge Rodriguez is in chat. Good to see you, Jorge. So, and yes, Dan from No Enemies here is like, Stronghold Games, eh? Gonna have to speak to the prez. Are we talking about Stephen Bonacore? Our pal Stephen Bonacore? There you go. Kabuki Kid says, Coffee Roaster is actually good. I own the Japanese version. So, like I thought this was originally a Japanese game. Asian game, I guess I will say. So that's pretty sweet. No pun intended. Right? A little sugar in your coffee. Let me quickly fix something here. There we go. For some reason, my little, it's not really a teleprompter, but it's kind of like a teleprompter. The screen was not big enough. And of course, I have to kind of look past the camera into it. And in fact, especially last night, it was like, wow, I am just having a hard time following the sell sheet info on this stupid thing. So now I've got it actually where it looks good. So let's move on to our next news piece. It is from GMT Games. Battle Line is arriving. It is yet another print run of Battle Line. Here's the dope. Now in its 8th GMT printing, designer Rainer Knizia's Battle Line is our number 2 all-time best-selling game. I find that pretty shocking, that it's number 2. I assume number 1 is Twilight Struggle. This newly rethemed version of Battle Line is a 2-player strategy card game built around the theme of medieval warfare. This rethemed version of Battle Line features 60 beautiful new cards by illustrator Roland McDonald, as well as 10 full-color tactics wild cards that give players extra flexibility and choices and help make each new battle wildly different from the last. Battle Line takes about 30 minutes to play. To win, you must create powerful formations along your side of the line of battle that are superior to those of your enemy. Victory goes to the player who wins 5 of the 9 battle flags in an envelopment or 3 adjacent flags, a breakthrough. Based on Rainer Knizia's original design published in Germany, Schattentoten, Battleline enhances and expands that game system, give players even more tactical options and gut-wrenching decisions. Battleline is for 2 players, ages 12 and up. As mentioned before, plays in around 30 minutes. Does carry an MSRP of $24. It is available right now. So I like this artwork. This is pretty sweet. I had, I don't know if it was a last print run or maybe it was 1 or 2 print runs prior to that. The battle lines, and I have not, gosh, I actually gave it away to somebody. And I could have swore, didn't it used to be Ancients? I think it was Ancient Warfare. But this looks, really love the artwork. Roland McDonald did some really nice work on these cards. And then it also these, if you see, we've got like the strategy cards. The artwork is almost kind of that period artwork and the line drawings and that. That is pretty sweet. Very nice. Very cool. So Dan is like, oh yeah, coffee's good. Drink coffee. Gives you energy and anxiety. It's not the love. What's wrong, man? A little caffeine, man. I need my caffeine fix. So I'll take a sip. I'll get my caffeine fix right now. Let's get on into some role-playing game news, because on Thursdays, I like to talk about RPGs. And Kort'thalis Publishing launched a new Kickstarter earlier today. It's an adventure supplement for their Gonzo OSR space fantasy setting. I guess we'll say space fantasy. Chaosium, and I've got the dope on Fuchsia Malaise. Chaosium Fuchsia Malaise is the first official adventure supplement for the Chaosium, I should say, campaign setting, mega dungeon, and various locales. Fuchsia Malaise will include more history, lore, scenarios, locations, monsters, magic items, spells, technology, NPCs, point crawl, and dungeon crawl morsels for your dubious gaming pleasure. So, what's the meaning behind Fuchsia Malaise? After the apocalypse all but wiped out civilization from the face of Chaosium, humanoids entered the squalid rat-eating phase. Hey, rat's good eating. Cup of coffee and a rat. Good deal. That's a perfect meal. Then Zoth was discovered, a miracle substance worth a king's ransom in small quantities. As species from other planets and dimensions visited Chaosium, people reached an equilibrium of prosperity, what with all the Golden Age high-tech and magic resurfacing. But soon enough, the Chaosium races were exploited. That optimism and zeal turned to boredom, aimlessness, and angst. Zoth's sucking machines were outlawed in favor of manual mining and refining the substance by hand. An existential crisis simmered below the surface as the people became forced laborers, their free time spent on a recreational drug traded to them by off-worlders in exchange for Zoth, after being refined into the space melange in the many factories across Skibach. Sure, I mispronounced that. This drug, Xanthium 183, is known to many on Chaosium as Fuchsia Malaise because of its lethargic effect upon the planet's humanoid population. Those imbibing it stare up at the fuchsia sky for hours at a time, mesmerized, until forced to mine Zoth after running out of their precious drug. A desperate band of freedom fighters might be able to stop all this, striking the nerve center of alien control known as Elysium. Aside from planetary surveillance and housing a contingent of military troops, that's where Xanthium 183 is manufactured. Destroying Elysium will cripple off-worlders' subjugation, releasing the people of Chaosium from slavery via mind-numbing addiction. Will you be among those who stave off Fuchsia Malaise? Perhaps your adventuring party is full of cunning, amoral opportunists looking for a quick score? Do you want to point out there is no video for this Kickstarter? So, kind of surprised. I thought we'd maybe see a Kickstarter video. But as I mentioned, it launched today. It is fully funded. You can reserve a copy of the supplement in PDF for a $10 pledge, or score the physical book and PDF for a $30 pledge through January 11th. Expected delivery of the PDF is next June, with the physical book to follow in October. So there you have it. Elysium must fall, says Jorge Rodriguez. Yes! Damn you, Elysium! So, let's see. Kabuki Kid says they don't drink anything hot. Well, I drink some coffee. I usually have a couple of cups of coffee in the morning, and that is it. That is, I tend to drink, diet soda or flavored water or whatever. So, all right. So Dan says, coffee black, no sugar, no nada. Dan is so tough. Dan drinks his coffee, no sugar, no milk, no cup. That's Dan from No Enemies Here, folks. I'm just joking. All right, so we were talking about Chaosium Inc. as of late, and Kevin Thorpe was kind of talking about this. I don't notice Kevin in chat tonight, but there is a new source for third-party RuneQuest content. So I've got the dope on the Johnstown Compendium from Chaosium's very own Michael O'Brien. Chaosium is pleased to launch the Johnstown Compendium, a new way for independent creators to publish and distribute their original content. How about I use the word correctly? Distribute. I treat English like a second language. Anyway, for independent creators to publish and distribute their own original content set in Greg Stafford's world of Glorantha. I need to wet my whistle here. Greg Stafford's world of Glorantha is one of the most extensively developed and renowned fantasy settings of all time. World of mythology, gods, and heroes, ready for you to discover and explore through the role-playing games RuneQuest and HeroQuest Glorantha Quest Worlds. The Johnstown Compendium is where you can find and create self-published material set in Glorantha. Creators can offer their works free of charge, set a price, or offer it as pay what you want. What can I find in the Johnstown Compendium? I don't know. Let's find out what you could find as well. You'll find original scenarios, background material, cults, mythology, stats for NPCs and monsters, and more, exploring the mythic universe of Glorantha. You can read Chaosium's content guidelines for what is and isn't allowed in the Johnstown Compendium. So you might be wondering, as I have a cat hair floating around, you might be wondering, how do you publish content for the Johnstown Compendium? Your first step is to read the Johnstown Compendium content guidelines. Our creator resources include templates for you to use that meet our specifications for compendium content. After creating your content, go to your account page and look in the My Content section. You can use the Add a New Title link after you agree to the Community Content Agreement. Once content is published, it can be found with the rest of the Johnstown Compendium. You'll be able to check your sales history, view reviews, and check on book royalties using your account page on DriveThruRPG. The My Money section of your account page will also allow you to withdraw royalties via PayPal. There are 5 initial releases. I am showing 3 of them because they had 3 of the cooler looking covers out of the 5. So, yes, I need to put my teeth back in. Yep, they fell right on out. Wow, Kabuki Kid cannot stand the taste of alcohol either. Well, I like that the madman's like, what? That's just not right. Yes, because I know Dan is a Scotch fan, if I remember correctly. Actually, just said he's a Scotch fan. And I could have swore that the madman is a whiskey fan. So I know there's been conversation about liquor in the chat prior. So yes, because obviously enough, you have to be fairly liquored up just to sit through my 30 minutes or so of tabletop gaming news. That's how I look at it. I'm surprised I'm sober. So, there you have it. All right, thanks for stopping in, Brian. Good to see you. Brian Sweet is rocking on out. So I've got my final news piece. And a classic comic book arc comes to the Judge Dredd and the Worlds of 2000 AD role-playing game from N Publishing. And I've got the dope on the Cursed Earth. Can you cross the Cursed Earth and survive? The Cursed Earth is a vast radioactive wasteland filled with mutants, outlaws, and more. Whether you're undertaking a desperate raid outside the borders of Megacity 1, or you're a mutant trying to eke out a life in the blasted wasteland, the Cursed Earth provides endless opportunities for adventure. Perhaps maybe you'd like to refer to it as the Cursed Earth. Within, you'll find 10 new mutant species, including the Alabama Blimp, Brotherhood of Darkness, Dog Soldier, Gila Munja, Kentucky Trog, and more. Plus, expanded mutation tables, which include animal mutations, corporeal mutations, and metaphysical mutations. You'll also find a wide range of new mutant careers, equipment, a gazetteer, and a full adventure which takes you on an epic trek across the Cursed Earth as you desperately try to deliver a vital antidote to Mega City 2, which is actually the storyline of that comic arc. I swear, it's Judge Dredd and a bunch of volunteers and people who maybe got forcibly included into this mission. And they are heading off to Mega City 2, which is supposed to be like Los Angeles. It's supposed to be like California with the antidote to the plague. Anyway, this is an essential book for those playing mutant characters, for those venturing out into, yes, you guessed it, the Cursed Earth. You can score the 156-page supplement at DriveThru RPG right now for $12.99. And I do see that they're using Brian Boland artwork on the cover. Very, very nice. Okay. Oh, sorry. The Madman says it is bourbon to be exact. My mistake. Pretty close, though. Bourbon and whiskey are very close. Much closer than bourbon and scotch or whiskey and scotch. Yes, and I know. I was a bartender for about 10 years. I couldn't believe how many people thought, because it says Scotch whiskey, that's whiskey. And it's like, no, that's scotch. It's totally different. Do not pour somebody who's looking for whiskey the well scotch, because they ain't gonna like it. All right, so a little music discussion. The Madman's asking what's in the cup. It's actually Diet Right. Cha-ching. Ah, so there. No, there's no alcohol added into the mix either. All right, so that is it for the news today. One last thing I did want to mention. Oh, well, first I should point out I had some stuff arrive today as I go off screen to grab it. So, Tony Galati, who I kid with all the time, aspartame, it's going to kill me. Dude, there's so many things that are going to kill me. The ticker is number 1, so come on, man. Gotta have some joy in life. Plus, this is like the only diet soda that I'm aware of that does not have sodium. And no caffeine. So there's no caffeine. Anyway, so I started to say Tony Galati, who used to be with Arcane Wonders, is now with Czech Games Edition, and he sent along Letter Jam for me to take a peek at. I know this was very hot at Origins, and of course, it is a word game, so we will be taking a peek. I'll be doing an unboxing video probably over the weekend. It's obviously be a fast video. So, also from Taito, I believe it's pronounced Taito Games, I received Elementos. Minty freshness, right? No. It's an elemental game, and I've heard actually some pretty good things about this. And it's funny, their company, a sister company, contacted me, and they were all like little kids games. I said, no, you don't want to send me that stuff because it's not my audience. Don't send me review copies of stuff that my audience is not going to dig, because you're just sending me something that you could be selling. That's how I kind of look at it. So anyhow, a Gray Day said, thanks, Jeff. I'm not sure for what. Oh, maybe they're leaving. I don't know. So Kabuki Kid says, I like Letter Jam. So anyway, I've heard good things about Elementos. Comes in a wood box. Oops. There you go. Gonna see the little wooden box here. So that could be cool. Okay. Thanks, a Gray Day. And then I also got Galatagala, which actually has some minis in it. So this is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. Plays in about 60 minutes. I'm taking a guess. This is kind of I'll take a guess. It's like an arena battle game, right? I think that's kind of what we're looking at. I actually didn't even look at the back of the box. I just brought this stuff downstairs. Didn't even really look at the boxes. That's how I kind of treat things when I do unboxing videos. Sometimes I don't even take a look at the back of the box. So when I first see the back of the box when I'm shooting the video, that's probably the first time I've actually seen the back of the box. I take my unboxing videos seriously, I do. Because to me, it's like, hey, you crack open a game. People who actually read sell sheet information on the back of the box know more about most games that I do an unboxing of than I do. Of course, until I'm done unboxing the game. Anyway, other thing I was going to say is, and I mentioned this on Twitter, I tweeted this out. There's a new website, a new channel. I think they're mainly trying to be a YouTube channel. And I was aware of these folks a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, okay, so they're called Dice Breakers. And I started seeing some of their videos popping up in recommended videos with my videos. And I was like, wow, who are they? Because usually, if it's tabletop gaming related we recommend these videos, I know who the people are. I mean, at least familiar. It's like, who are these people? So I looked, and at that time, a few weeks ago, they had like 20,000 subscribers and been around a month, and they had like 9 videos. I was like, how in the world do these guys have 20,000 subscribers? And once again, their thumbnails look like the typical, this is what you do with a thumbnail on YouTube. And the stupid, kind of, stupid ass, So I'm like, what the hell is? So I checked out their video, and it's like, basically it's the same 10-minute or less videos talking about something, and it's like, obviously the hosts are not very knowledgeable. I'm like, excuse my French here. I'm like, what the fuck is this now? Because every time you turn around, it's like the small channels, the independent people out there who do not have their hand out, asking you to spend thousands, invest your hard-earned cash into Kickstarters for them to travel around the world and, go to all these conventions and that, because you enjoy watching their coverage, which is fine. But the smaller folks out there, we're getting squeezed out, because now, of course, and I found out today, and the funny thing is, I actually like their sister website, Rock Paper Shotgun. It's from the UK. It's all PC game stuff. And I do like their website. But their corporate parent is the one this is the Dice Breakers. And I just saw today, I was checking out some PC news, right? And I see today, it's like, oh, check out our sister site, Dice Breakers, put together by our corporate parent. I was like, yep, here we go. So as I said on Twitter, it's going to get to the point where you're going to get just about all of your gaming opinion and reviews are going to all be coming from people who are looking to make a buck. Or, you can't tell me that their corporate parent decided that they were going to start doing tabletop gaming videos out of the kindness of their hearts. Of course, if I remember correctly, I think they already had some Kickstarter previews up on this channel, and now they've got like 50,000 subscribers, and they've been around 2 months, and it's sort of like, how did that happen? They bought their subscribers. They've obviously paid for a lot of subscribers, because I'll tell you what, when there were only a handful of people covering this hobby, such as Cody and John, of course, yeah, Tom and Eric, and of course back then it was Tom and Sam. On the Dice Tower, you had the Spiel was around, and of course there was the Gaming Gang, because I'm in my 10th year. Even when we were like some of the only channels out there, and of course I still don't have that many subscribers. The Dice Tower didn't get 50,000 subscribers in a couple of months. The Dice Tower doesn't get 50,000 subscribers in 2 months now. So it's like, it's starting to get ridiculous. It really, really is. And the thing is, I'm not the one getting hurt by it. If my stream of review copies dry up because companies out there want to make sure that they get more eyeballs on their product, even if the coverage is lamer than shit, it's not any skin off my ass. It really isn't. Problem is, it's going to hurt the consumers out there, because you already know. I mean, I guarantee every one of you watching this or watching in the future, and I'm not mad. I'm just pointing it out where it's like, geez, it's getting to the point where our hobby is just all becoming, just especially the coverage of the hobby is all about who's going to pay me. And it's like, I didn't get into this for that. Obviously not, because I'm not getting paid. But yeah, it's going to get to the point where everybody's just going to be like, oh, this game's great. This game's fantastic. I was going to say, I guarantee every one of you watching, everyone in chat, everybody who's watching, even after the fact, there is a channel or there's a reviewer who's popular and things like that you absolutely cannot stand, including myself, and you think, man, they're in the bag. And a lot of them are. A lot of them are in the bag. I say it time and time again, I don't give a shit if they walk up to me at a convention someday and give me a hard time. Man vs. Meeple is a shill. That's all he is. He's a shill, and they basically hide the fact that they're paid for their reviews at the end of their videos. At the end of their like, how I've got my little end screen where I'm like, hey, you're still here, which is changing. I'm rolling out a new one. It'll be much shorter. But that's when they reveal, oh, well, we were paid for this promotional. And it's like, oh, thanks, because nobody's watching anymore. So it's going to get to the point where everybody's going to be like that. Everybody's going to be like that. Dan says, I'd love to be paid. Yeah, me too. I'd be like, yeah, that's great. But you know what? Dan does this because Dan enjoys it. And Dan likes to crack wise on camera while he's doing his show. So yeah, it's just something I saw, and I'm like, oh, and I noticed this before, and I thought, yeah, I don't really pay attention to what anybody else is really doing as far as covering the hobby. It's just, I'm too busy doing my own stuff. But like I said, I had noticed them in the recommended videos, and I was like, who are these guys? And then I looked, I was like, what the hell? Right, Kabuki Kid is rocking on out. Good to see you, Double K. Catch you next time. I was just pointing that out. I was just sharing this, Like I said, it's not no skin off my ass. It's just something that I do think that we're getting to the point where it's going to be a tipping point where you're going to have companies that, because one of the things is companies don't produce a lot of games they had to send out for review. They don't. And I love the fact that they don't do that, because you know what? They got to stay in business, right? They got to make a profit. Now, Wizards of the Coast, they can send out copies of their their latest Dungeons and Dragon books and that, probably, I'll guess 300 reviewers. It's maybe guess 400. Most game companies can't do that. WizKids, now I don't know if it's still the same. WizKids, their policy was they took 10 copies out of every print run of a game and set that aside for reviewers. So 10 outlets were going to get a review copy, and that was it. So it's going to start getting to the point where those of us who are independent, who aren't in somebody's pocket, we're going to get squeezed out because these companies are going to say, well, you know, these guys, they've got 50,000 subscribers in 2 months. Their content must be great. Because most companies, they're not going to sit there and watch a bunch of your videos to make sure that, you know, you're not an idiot. They see 50,000 subscribers, they're going to say, well, people like them regardless if they're idiots or not. And of course, the independents out there, you're going to get squeezed out. Companies are going to say, well, I already, and I've been doing this 10 years, I already have companies where they're kind of like, well, you know, it's like, that's fine. Then don't send me a review copy. I'm not here to beg you for anything. In fact, usually companies contact me, but sometimes something will come out that really catches my eye, and it might be a company I've done reviews for in the past, and I'll say, hey, I'd love to. And I will, on occasion, get, well, you know, we only have so many review copies. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. Completely understand. I get it. So anyway, just, you know, it's just the way it goes. Back in the old days, but hardly anybody was doing this. Those were the days. And of course, nobody was doing video, really. Everybody was doing podcasts. And just think now. Like, I think the Dice Tower still does a podcast, don't they? Like I said, I don't know. I think they do. All right. Anyway, so Dan says, yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it really is. I mean, it is. So, and you know, I know a lot of people out there watch videos and they say, well, you know, you got a free review copy, so that means that you're inclined to be more positive about a product. And you know, the funny thing is, on one hand, you are. I mean, that is true. I mean, and then of course, if it's designed by a friend of mine, then once again, there's like, you know, I don't want to be a jerk. But then again, on the other hand, you got to look at it where it's like, yeah, but what is my integrity worth, right? At least to me, it's worth something. So if I have to give a negative review for something, I will. But normally, I mean, these days, if I'm doing a negative review on something, I check with the company that I'm going to be doing it for. And more likely than not, they say, no, that's okay. Because, you know, right? All right, so Dan says Rodney of Watch It Played had a couple of videos saying just that. I've never met Rodney. I don't, once again, and people probably don't believe this, but I really don't watch like other people in the industry. I know them, I know of them. I may have seen stuff, but I mean, I don't have time to watch their stuff because I'm working on this show and other videos and the website itself. And I like to have a life outside of the gaming gig too. And I like to watch Netflix from time to time. Speaking of, just watched The Irishman last night. Fantastic. Loved it. So, yeah, I'm not sure what his videos were. I assume it's the corporate mentality thing. So Flaming Heron says it's the changing times. Unfortunately, those days when you had was magazines, right? Those went by the wayside. It's a sad state of affairs. You know, funny enough, you mentioned magazines because Mo from Mo's Game Table responded to my. It wasn't like an outburst or anything. I just was bringing this up on Twitter, and he had said, "Oh well, you know, the small channels and you know small outlets are always going to provide you know good stuff." And which is, you know, that's on one hand, it's true. But the other hand, I was going to say, yeah, well, what about when everybody talked about, well, you know, these small magazines, these small newspapers, you know, they'll survive. Even big magazines are gone. So, anyway, so, So Rodney charges for explaining a game. Oh yeah, I knew that. But he's not a shill. That's the whole point. I don't look at Rodney as a shill. Rodney provides a service to show people how to play a game. He doesn't tell you if it's, oh, I really think this is awesome, or, you know, this game's okay. He just teaches people how to play, right? Am I correct on this? I mean, I might be wrong. So Dan says, I'd be surprised at Tom Vass's philosophy and exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, I know Tom. Tom and I chat when I see him at conventions and that. I usually talk to him a few times. I mean, there's a story I could share real quick about. People think I don't like Tom Vassal. I like Tom fine. I have no problem with it. Tom and I are just completely different people. That's all. We're completely different gamers. But back when it was Elliot Miller and myself doing the gaming gang, and we had some contributors like I do now that, you know, every once in a while we get a review or article from. We go to Origins, and I had never met Tom before, and we were walking through, and Tom knew Elliot somehow, or maybe he had talked to Elliot or something. I don't know, but I had never met Tom. So all of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, Jeff, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And blah, blah. So of course, and Tom's talking about how, you know, we're the competition. And that is kind of how Tom, maybe things have changed, but at that point, Tom always looked at anybody else doing this stuff as the competition. And, which I don't know, that's fine. I mean, I'm not competing with anybody. I'm just me. I'm just doing my thing, you know? So anyway, so he says, oh yeah, Dan, I know Tom speaks his mind. Tom gets in trouble for just, like, when people went crazy about him saying, hey, you know what? Your friendly local game store may not be all that friendly. They may not deserve your business. And I'm like, yeah, you're right on the money, baby. I know all about that. I lived in Phoenix. Well, I lived in Chandler and Mason. And yeah, one of the game stores out of, I think there were 4 or 5 there, was actually worthwhile to go to. And of course, it was the one that was like all the way on the other side of town. But the other ones were like shit. I was like, man, I wouldn't waste my time in these places. They treated you like garbage. But anyway, back to the story real quick. So Tom says, oh, great, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, hey, I'm really looking forward to you working with us. And I was like, what? And Tom said, yeah. He goes, you're coming on board the network. I said, what? And of course, Elliot's standing next to me and all the blood, like, drains out of his face. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, Tom. He's like, oh, you're coming out. He goes, you're joining the Dice Tower Network. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, man. He's like, well, maybe you should talk to Elliot. I'm like, yeah. He's standing right next to me. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should talk to Elliot. I was like, absolutely not, man. This is my baby. I pay for this. It's like, this is my name. I'm like, I am not joining anybody's network, especially since I like to say, you know, when we would do the podcast and stuff, every once in a while I would swear. So, and I, you know, we know Tom. I mean, and plus I like to have an adult beverage from time to time. So, yeah, I was like, no, I'm not working for anybody. I'm working for me. I'm like, no. So I thought that was funny. I thought that was really, really funny. So yes, so Dan says, yes, I'm right about the competition. Yeah, but you know, he's not a jerk to the competition. And then once again, he tries to absorb the competition. So there's nothing wrong with that either, right? I guess. So yes, thank you, Dan. I'm glad you watched because I speak my mind. So Flaming Huron says, well, your website is top notch. You know, that's something that a lot of people don't realize who catch the show on that. The website is, thanks, Dan. Yes, I understand your girlfriend is saying enough of that. Time to watch TV. Keep going. I'll catch you later. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the website is very, very popular. It really, really is very, very popular. In fact, all you got to do is go to alexa.com, put in the website, and then compare it to other websites out there too, and they'll show approximately, because I don't have any tracking code or like any tracking HTML or anything like that, JavaScript from them on my website, but they and you can enter in other websites that you think, oh yeah, they're from. And now I'm not talking Dice Tower News, but I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are some websites out there you're like, oh yeah, they got to be more popular than the Gaming Gang as far as tabletop gaming, and you'll find out, no, actually they're not. And last time I said something like this, somebody put a really rude comment saying, yeah, you're awfully full of yourself, aren't you? It's like, no, I'm not. I'm just stating the fact that the site is more popular than people probably realize. That's not me going, hey, we're number one, baby. Anyway, so that is it. I kind of pontificated for a while. I'm sure most people watching after the fact will be like, I'm tuning out of this. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. As I like to always point out, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only notify you of when this stream goes live, it'll also tell you when I upload standalone videos, such as my unboxings, page-throughs, and reviews. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit the aforementioned gaminggang.com. I should say thegaminggang.com. For all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV, and more. All right, so everybody who hung out and chat with me, thank you so much. I always appreciate everybody swinging by to just pontificate and throw out some comments and get a little conversation going between yourselves. That way I'm not just sitting here talking to a camera. Like, hello, no one. Hello, nobody. So, anyway, and of course, if you watch after the fact, I really appreciate that as well. I have a soft spot in my heart for all of you folks out there. Thank you so much. I understand there are plenty of other channels like Dice Breakers that you could be watching right now. So, all right. Everybody enjoy your Thursday night. I'm going to go catch the Bears game. Not sure what's going on yet, but we'll find out. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. So until then, happy trails. Zoobadoo-badoo-badoo-boo-boo. Zoobadoo-badoo-badoo-boo. Zabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-bum. Zibba. Whoa, hey. I didn't realize that you were still here. Well, if that's the case, then allow me to share the following information with you that I only have 20 seconds to do. So let's all take a deep breath. So if you would like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, please click right here. If you want to check out the latest episode of The Daily Dope, click right here. And if you'd like to check out a randomly selected standalone video, by all means, click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and thanks for watching.